My name is Kirby Lund, and I am the current Department Chair of Arts and Human Sciences at Williston State College, and I'm an Associate Professor of English at Williston State College. I earned an associate degree in arts from Williston State College. Then I transferred to the University of North Dakota, where I got my Bachelor of Arts and my Master of Arts in English. And after I graduated, I came right back here to teach.
What made you choose Williston State College to come back and teach?
I am from the area originally. I graduated from Williston High School, and I thought that it was important to give back to my own community. So once I graduated from the University of North Dakota, the very first thing I thought of was, why wouldn't I go back and try and teach at Williston State? Luckily, they had a spot available for adjunct, and from there, I got a full-time position, and I've been here for about 10 years.
How have your personal and professional experiences kind of shaped the way you teach and your philosophies?
I've been told that the person you are now is the person that you were looking for when you were younger. So going through the education that I did, both here at Williston State and at the University of North Dakota, all kind of led me to this point where I feel like I'm in a position to give back to students and really be the person that I was looking for when I was younger. So a person who was supportive even of kind of weird, eccentric, harebrained ideas that not everybody is talking about. So if a student comes by and says, "Hey, I want to write about this topic," okay, I think we can fit that into our assignment if we do it like this, so that you have the opportunity to study the things that you want while still achieving the learning outcomes that are necessitated by the school.
Do you have any experiences so far at Williston State that kind of stand out to you that have impacted you?
As a student at Williston State from 2006 to 2008, there were a couple of events that really stick out to me. First, I was one of the writing lab staff. We now call it the communication lab, and I actually oversee the communication lab here on campus. So teaching in the classroom is one thing, but teaching and tutoring one-to-one in the communication lab is a whole different style of teaching. And I was really lucky to be a part of that as a student here back in 2008. The other one was being a graduation speaker at my own commencement in 2008, where I strung together a bunch of movie quotes. Some might call that plagiarism because I didn't cite my sources. But it was a really fun speech, and it was a really great day.
What have you found the most rewarding so far about teaching here at Williston State?
I often get to see people who I would normally not get to see. Case in point, right when I started teaching full-time here, I was teaching college students who were going to transfer to other schools, so the University of North Dakota, Bismarck State, North Dakota State, any of the big universities in the state. But at the same time, I was also teaching English as a second language, and I had never taught those students before. And these were adult learners. These weren't 18, 19-year-olds who were just graduating high school. Instead, these were adults who were probably 10, 20, even 30 years my senior. And again, it's a very different style of teaching, because now you're trying to teach someone English who does not speak English. Well, now you'll notice that my hands are moving a lot, because this is how I had to learn how to teach. I had to teach with my body. If you're trying to teach them a certain word, and it's a difficult word to understand, how can you kind of charades your way through so that they understand and make the connection? Oh, that word means this.
How do you work to positively impact your students, not just inside the classroom, but outside of it as well?
One of the biggest things about college nowadays is cost. We have housing costs, we have tuition costs, we have student fees, And especially we have textbooks, and textbooks are exorbitantly expensive. So one of the things that I did in my classes, I took away all the textbooks and I started writing my own. Instead of a physical textbook, I give my students a link to my website, and I created a bunch of readings where full classes from the beginning of the semester to the end of the semester don't require a physical textbook for you to buy. Instead, you just go to my website, there's all the learning materials right there for free, whether it's on your computer or your phone. You can read either way. So in making that small change, for every student, every semester, I save them about $100 or $150. And that can sometimes mean the difference between, do I buy textbooks for my class this month, or do I buy groceries this month? So I think that's a huge positive impact that I've made.
Can you think of any student in particular whose story or success has impacted you in some way?
I think there are a lot of students, and after teaching here for 10 years, it's hard to really pinpoint and say, yeah, that was one example of a student who really touched the cockles of my heart. Instead, I would say, especially the English as a second language students are very memorable, just because they moved to the United States. They had to learn English just to kind of get by. They learned enough English to be fluent. They came to my classes, whether that's college writing prep, to get them ready for college English, or college English itself. And it's been really inspirational to see someone learn a whole new language and go through that language to an associate's degree, and I had a part in that. Really, it's the student success, but at least I was there to help facilitate that success.
How do you stay motivated and inspired in your role educating students here at WSC?
I'm motivated by change. Things need to change. Things need to stay fresh in college education. And I think that's kind of where college education is falling behind. We've been shown media that college is all about 400 people sitting in a lecture bowl. And as an instructor, I'm going to stand in front of you. You are going to listen to every word I say with bated breath. You're going to take notes. Then I'm going to quiz you on what I told you. Instead, that doesn't feel like it's really preparing students for a career, or preparing students to go out into the world and be successful citizens. So instead, we have to change the way that we're delivering information to our students, but we're also having to change the way that we engage with students, so that students don't see us as the sage on the stage. I am not just a fountain of knowledge that you have to listen to with bated breath. Instead, we're collaborating. We're working together to generate new knowledge and then send you out into the world to go and make more change. So being innovative in my teaching practices is really what gets me up in the morning.
Do you have any interesting talents or skills or hobbies? We're going to go off script here just a little bit that you'd like to share with us?
On my website, I have a little about me section, and there's that phrase, a jack of all trades and a master of none. I am a master of one because I have a master's degree in English, but on top of that, I have so many other skills and hobbies. I've taken up knitting, I've done woodworking, I've built my own furniture, I've restored furniture. Of course, I write, I do videography, I do video editing. I've narrated a couple of short stories as audiobooks. There are any number of skills that come with a position like this that Some of them are more germane to education as opposed to knitting and woodworking. But finding ways to take my hobbies and then push them into my career. I built the graduation mace a couple of years ago for our commencement ceremony. And that's just one way that woodworking has brought itself into this career. And I knit myself a whole sweater vest that says Tetons all over it. So again, I'm bringing my hobbies into the position. So it's probably easier to say what skills haven't I learned from this position.
Here's another fun one. You're stranded on a deserted island and you can bring one thing with you. What are you bringing?
I am going to bring a Kindle and hope that there is Wi-Fi so I finally have time to read books.
What advice would you have for somebody who is maybe thinking about pursuing a career in education?
Go out and talk to your teachers. Again, we've been fed a lot of media in American culture that college professors are all really stodgy and unapproachable, and that really isn't the case. Just like anybody else, we all have thoughts and desires and dreams and inspirations and motivations. But students don't often feel privy to them. So if you're thinking about going into a career in education, why not go and talk to an educator? And we can tell you what we like about the job, what the challenges of the job are, what the challenges of the field are, and help you make an informed decision about your future that honestly is going to make my day. If more students just came to my office and said, hey, I was thinking about this thing, I watched this movie and I wanted to talk about it with you, I would be over the moon.
What would you have to say to any students that might be thinking about coming to WSC to continue their education?
Go for it. We're here to help. And again, I really want to lean into that collaboration idea. I'm not just going to lecture at you for 3 hours a week in College Composition 1. We're going to discuss ideas, and I want to hear your ideas specifically. So if you want to share ideas, if you want to collaborate, if you want to be an informed citizen in 2024, Williston State is the place to begin.
We are so grateful to have amazing faculty like Kirby Lund at Williston State College, where the people make the difference.